Hello and welcome to another episode of Splattercat's Indie Shorts. Today we're going to be taking a short look at Talisman, a game by Games Workshop of Warhammer 40k fame, and a board game that I used to play a lot as a child, so I'm really excited that they're finally turning it into a computer game that you can play with friends over the internet and just be able to break it out whenever you want, which is always the problem with board games. Sometimes you don't have people to play with, so I'm going to jump straight in here and try and explain things as best as I can. The first thing that the player is going to be invited to do with Talisman is select a character. These run the range of archetypes from warriors, to wizards, to thieves, to monks, to even some more interesting ones like trolls. Everyone is going to be distinguished by its unique abilities and properties. Strength distinguishes warriors and acts as your physical combat multiplier. Craft is your intelligence and helps with psychic combat and casting of spells. Gold is your money to spend. Fate is basically like your luck. And life is how many hit points you have until you're out. Once a character is decided upon, you have to decide on a quest. These run the range of the cliché, rescuing princesses and moving things around the board, to some more interesting options, although most people I think are going to opt for the multiplayer component. Once a quest is selected, you'll be transported to the game board, which is a very faithful reenaction of what you would see in the actual Games Workshop tabletop version. You roll a die and can move in either direction around concentric rings of the board. Different challenges lie on different spots, but for the purpose of this quest, we're trying to gather our strength so that we can rescue a princess from the ogres pictured here. Movement in Talisman is relatively simple and mirrors movement in games like Sorry and Monopoly. You roll a dice, and you can move in either direction around the board that amount of spaces. Landing on a space yields you an adventure card, or if there's already an event there, you've got to deal with it. Adventure cards can range from finding gear laying on the ground to actually running into characters, from bandits to boars, and as you can see here that I ended up rolling the Witch, who has a number of things that she can take from you or give to you depending on a dice roll that follows overturning her card. As you flip cards, you'll come across events, followers, gear, and all kinds of things. Some things are permanent and stay on the space forever, so other players will have to deal with them, and some of them are simply scooped into your inventory and help you survive in the future. Inevitably, your character is going to have to engage in combat, and this comes in two different flavors. Either a combat by craft, which is intellect, or a combat by physical strength. The majority that I've encountered so far have been by physical strength, and they kind of unfold as follows, and I'm sorry this is a little wordy, but you take your strength score, you roll 2 dice, you take the higher die and add it to your strength score, and then add any modifiers from your gear, and that's your attack score. Your opponent does the same, and whoever has the higher number wins the combat. Now if you lose a health, and if you win, you take the enemy and put them into your trophy pile, which can be spent later. All these things explained, the player is then going to take his time, move around the board, gather items, gather strength, try to level up as best as possible, and complete the quest that he's been given in the most timely manner possible. Now, when you complete the quest, the game gives you a score from 1 to 3, and you are trying to get the maximum score, basically completing the quest as quickly as possible. Once the multiplayer component is put in, you'll be playing against actual people trying to get to the center of the board and capture the crown. Whoever gets there first wins, and there's different challenges you have to overcome to pass each concentric ring of the board, and then there's also a final ultimate challenge at the center. But if you make it through all of it, you win, and that's it. Now, I come to the part of this short look kind of apprehensive because I have to explain to you whether or not it's worth buying, and my nostalgia right now is enormous. Like, I can remember playing this game as a child, so that's very much wanting me to lean in the direction of go buy it right now. But what you need to understand is the game is not completed. They are selling it on Desura as a completed project, but you're only getting the prologue, which means you get the warrior, which is essentially the full tutorial of the game. You aren't getting the full character class list, and you aren't getting all the different gameplay modes. So if you're expecting a fully fleshed out multiplayer, single-player product, this is not where you want to go with it. You're going to want to wait until the full release comes out. Now, knowing Games Workshop, this is going to be really cool when it comes out, and I see a lot of possibilities in basically friends lists, in networking. One of the main problems with common tabletop gaming is that it's difficult to find enough people with enough time to play the game on a table. These games tend to take a while. They tend to be kind of expansive, and they tend to have a learning curve. Now, if Games Workshop can put in a buddy list, a matchmaking system, and all of those things, I see this being a really cool kind of addition to gamer culture, kind of e-board gaming, and I'm really excited about it because I am a giant board gaming fan. So if you're a fan of games like Runebound, D&D, Arkham Horror, any other kind of tabletop games, I would definitely recommend picking it up. Just understand it's not a completed project, and if you aren't into those things, I'd say keep an eye on it until the full version comes out and see if you can get enticed by the multiplayer. My name is Splattercat. Thank you so much for joining me in this short look at Talisman, a game by Games Workshop. The release date is not concrete yet, but when it comes out, you will definitely see me there. Take care out there.